Okay, we're finally getting to it. I put it on my Twitter account at Jumbo Hart today, at WEEI Afternoons, retweeted it. It's our poll of the day. With his first ring secured and a Super Bowl MVP on his resume, where does Eagles QB Jalen Hurts currently rank among NFL quarterbacks? Top 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, or 16 or lower were your options. 25% say he's now a top 5 quarterback.
Already up to top 5. Who else? Who's in your top 5?
Well, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Jackson. Not Allen Jackson. It's
Allen Jackson plays quarterback?
Different Allen Jackson.
Josh
lawyer
Allen, Lamar
for
Jackson.
Karen Reed, actually.
So who's the fifth?
The fifth would be Jalen Hurts. Is he slide into that 5th spot? Now, the next option is actually winning, 6 to 10. 59% of respondents believe he's 6 to 10. 11% say he's 11 to 15, and 5% of 800 votes say he's lower than 16.
See, I'm not. Jordan Love has done nothing to validate it, even though I think his physical skills are comparable, if not potentially greater. Jared Goff, obviously, we see what he does in the biggest games. Unfortunately, Dak Prescott's best days may have passed him by, and he's a little too injury prone as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
What about Brock Purdy?
Nope.
Why?
Top 10.
Okay.
He's
what
not top
about Justin Herbert?
Choke central.
I'm going to need a word to come out of your
choke.
mouth.
I was going to say unclutch, but I went with choke instead, so that's why I went Chuck.
How about an older option whose wife is in the news quite a bit? Matthew
Stafford. See, he's top 10 for sure.
Got a Super Bowl ring.
He does.
He's been good for a long, long time.
He played very well again. Actually, the best game the Eagles got in the postseason was the Ramajamas at the Link on the snowstorm.
So what I would argue here, and obviously a lot of you probably saw, and I'll dig this up and maybe read it verbatim in the next segment here, but RG3 got this conversation going on social media before the game because people said, oh, if Jalen Hurts wins, he'll be in the conversation with the Burrows and the Allens. And
Thank God they didn't say he's the new GOAT.
No. And RG3 was like, no, he'll be above those guys because he has a Super Bowl ring and none of those guys have a Super Bowl ring. Now, I think that is the dumbest way to look at it. So Brad Johnson is better than Dan Marino? Is that what we're doing here?
No, that's not what we're doing.
Or whoever. Like, if you want to just start parsing Super Bowl rings and just rank them straight out. How
about Terry? Then Terry Bradshaw's the GOAT.
No, Tom Brady's still the GOAT.
Well, in the eyes of some,
he was a GOAT for a while, potentially.
Yes, I mean...
that's why you have to have some, this is a word that I hate, that's, dinky, but nuance to the conversation.
Subtlety. Layers.
Because he won, so Nick Foles and Jalen Hurts, same quarterback?
Yeah, no.
No, so that's where you actually have to watch the
eye
games.
test. You watch it, you watch him run. Every time the pocket collapsed, he was just up the gut for 10.
So my argument is this proves that the conversation for the quarterback debate in the NFL starts at 5. I think everybody has the top four in some order, in my opinion, right? You can argue about the MVP should have gone to Allen.
I think that's pretty inarguable, the top 4.
There's 4 that are up there, even though only one of them has a Super Bowl. Because this isn't just about Super Bowls. It's about the best quarterbacks and how good they are. And then you start the conversation, and in any given year, recency bias, recent games, championships, runs are going to sway this debate as to who's 5th. Right now, I absolutely think Jalen Hurts should be in the 5 spot.
Yep.
Because I watched him play yesterday, and he won the game. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's been in the Super Bowl twice in 3 years. Is he surrounded by talent? Sure he is.
Arguably, he's played as well, if not better, than Mahomes in the 2 games aggregate.
I don't even think it's arguable. I think he's been the better quarterback in an aggregate 2-game matchup with Patrick Mahomes.
So now he does show him some love. Philadelphia going to show him some love.
So, again, I think he's going down the Eli Manning road. If 2 games against a GOAT and you outperform the GOAT, get you in the Hall of Fame, then Jalen Hurts is knocking on Canton's door.
So 15 years from now, who do you think will, let's say Jalen Hurts goes to one more Super Bowl? Hurts or Manning?
I think Hurts is the better player.
Same.
But I also don't think either are Hall of Fame talents. I also think Jalen Hurts might be the most overrated quarterback in football. I think.
Wait, hold on. How can he be the 5th best but also the most overrated? I'm going to need a lane.
If he was 15th, he wouldn't be overrated. He's overrated because he's not that good. You know why he's that high? The talent around him.
Yeah, but my head hurts now.
No, he's overrated.
How so?
You don't think he's overrated?
You don't think how do you? Well, we have to do the whole extraction test. How would he perform? Let's say on the Buccaneers roster.
Not as well. Not nearly as well.
So he's basically he's a passenger. He's a talented passenger with a pencil-thin mustache?
I wouldn't say he's a talented passenger, but he's not a full-fledged captain. He's driving the boat today.
He's
'cause
not
the
a
real
franchise.
captain-
Well, then that means Mahomes is a better quarterback than Hurts. That's obviously why he's in the top 4, because he can do more on his own.
Yeah, absolutely. The top
Yet Hurts has
4
outplayed him. Anyone else?
The top 4 are the best quarterbacks in football.
Yes.
Without a doubt. Like, for example, some of these young guys, Jaden Daniels could be knocking on the door of entering the 5 spot.
Might be already top 10.
Oh, I think he's definitely top 10. And the question is, if he's a year away, so C.J. Stroud was knocking on the door, then had a step back this year. C.J. Stroud can still be in the conversation.
Yep.
Like, these are guys that I think have more ability than Jalen Hurts. If you put C.J. Stroud... You put Jaden Daniels on the Eagles?
Oh, my God.
Good Lord.
20-0, here we come.
Talk about a new dynasty, and that's my point. That was my argument when everybody was getting all hot and bothered about the MVP. Allen versus Jackson and how it could go to the guy with lesser stats because he has lesser team. He does more with less around him. The talent around you plays into the assessment of how good you think that guy is.
Right. We too often overrate what the quarterback is because of the talent around them. Look what happened yesterday. The offensive line for Patrick Mahomes did not play up to snuff. As a matter of fact, they probably had their worst game of the year. Yeah. And look who suffered. Him. You know, on his second interception, it wasn't that Mahomes made a bad read. Yes.
We got a crappy game.
Indeed. Joe Tooney just got shoved by Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
Straight into Mahomes.
Joe Tooney should have been like, Coach, I think I'd like to go back to guard now. Yeah. This whole I'm a tackle, I can play all the positions, feels like it got exposed.
Yeah. Like the expo. Like
I love him, but...
Yeah, the put me back at guard light came on last night.
Peter principle.
Poor guy.
Yeah, no, I felt bad for him because I like him, and he did get exposed a little bit there. But